Joe Milton, now a Dallas Cowboy.
Man.
And we don't like it.
No, we don't. They moved up 20 picks in the draft, give or take.
Well,
oh, no, from where he was picked. They moved up 2 rounds, but it's a compensatory bottom of the 5th round for their 7th rounder, which
probably averages out to a
top,
6th.
Yeah, they didn't move up that many spots. I'll get the exact details for you, but pick swap. So they gain 0 draft picks. They move up a little bit in day 3.
They net 0 draft picks. They move up from the 7th to the 5th. That's it. And
net
you lose
gain.
Joe Milton. Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh, I guess that's true.
They didn't gain any picks.
Yeah, they ain't.
I mean, you say net, I say gain. Same thing.
I guess you're right. I don't know why I felt the need to correct that.
And now no Joe Milton. So if they ever had like a long toss competition, they're screwed because Joe Milton would have won that.
Yeah. Or a backflip competition.
Or, hell yeah, Billy did backflips. You brought up a point off the air about how this really stinks for preseason football because he is the guy to watch in the preseason because you give Drake Maye a snap or 2 here and there, and then you're like, all right, let's see what this guy can do.
Like, selfishly for us, at least until they draft another quarterback, and maybe this puts him in the market to take a quarterback. Sure. Like, when we break down all the draft positions, we're going to do the offensive line coming up at 10:45.
That's Haas's.
But I'll tell you what, quarterbacks
Sanders at 4.
Quarterbacks are much more interesting now. And I'm not saying they're going to take one. I'm not saying they're going to take one at 4, but like, we're going to have to look at some late round QBs that I wasn't really considering prior.
Right.
So I bet they're back in the market for another Joe Milton type.
It was the second best draft pick for Elliott Wolf last year. They already traded him away.
Draft, develop, flip. That's what his father did in Green Bay for years and years and years. So, okay, they're back in the market for another QB. Selfishly for us, talk radio
stinks.
Joe Milton was good for business, I think. Yeah.
Fans like this guy. They knew this guy. He's one of the very few late round quarterbacks that we got calls about prior to the draft.
Yeah.
In a year where it was all about who do you like better, Drake Maye or Jaden Daniels? Because that was really the conversation for months leading up to the draft.
And you'd get the
multiple Joe Milton calls.
What about Joe Milton?
A ton of Joe Milton calls. Then they got him, and it was fun to watch him and all that stuff. And I'm not sitting here telling you that he's the greatest quarterback of all time, but for a backup, like a project backup, why not? You got him on the rookie deal, the whole 9. Let me introduce this to you.
Okay.
Mike Reese covers the Patriots for a long time.
Introduce, Keefe.
Yep. He tweets out opinion/analysis.
Now let me jump in on this.
Go ahead.
Mike Reese, these opinions, I don't mean to say he has no thoughts on it, but these opinions tend to be informed. When he says, I've got an opinion on something, he tends to have a good feeling on where it's going.
It's like a local Adam Schefter, where like you ask him questions, and really every single opinion is pretty well informed. So anyway, opinion/analysis, : trade of Joe Milton III for modest draft pick return sparks a thought that it was driven as much by QB room dynamics as anything else. It clears the runway for Drake Maye. Maye wanted him out.
Maye didn't want him here.
Because Robert Kraft was... I didn't read as much into it as you did at the time. At the end of the year when Robert Kraft was speaking and they were asking him about the QB room, and he was like, maybe we have 2 quarterbacks. Which, if you're the
looks
third,
like we lucked out. We maybe have 2 quarterbacks.
Drake Maye didn't like that.
If you're the starting quarterback, do you want to hear that?
Drake Maye didn't like that. Get him out of here.
The backup quarterback's always popular, unless that backup quarterback is Jacoby Brissett or Josh Dobbs, and that's what you have now. If the backup quarterback, even though I think Drake Maye is head and shoulders better than Joe Milton, there's still a little something there.
Scrumplestiltskin on the Twitch chat says that's insane. There's no way it was Maye. Look, I was just
gonna be Maye.
I was speculating at the beginning of the show. I'm like, well, let's try to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Vrabel hates him. Very possible. Maybe Milton wants out. Also possible, but the guy has no leverage. Maybe the most simple thing is the starting quarterback bristled when the owner said, we have 2 quarterbacks. And, oh, by the way, don't yell at me, Scrumplestiltskin.
Yeah, come on.
Yell at Reese. Because Reese just said it.
QB dynamics.
QB room dynamics.
What else can that mean?
I mean, I guess you could explain it away as the depth chart if you want to be charitable.
No, I don't think it's that. They don't even have like 90 guys on the roster or whatever. Well, a lot of teams can carry 3. Look, they might only carry 2, but...
Look, I already thought it was Maye before Reese's tweet, but maybe QB room dynamics mean Milton wasn't happy being the 3rd guy. Something like that. Like, there are alternative explanations,
but Milton can also compete in camp, and he can at least pass Dobbs by in training camp. Can he, in the preseason?
One would think.
Did Tom Brady want Jimmy Garoppolo gone?
Yes.
Okay, so it has happened where a starting quarterback has wanted a backup quarterback gone.
A guy who should be much less threatened.
Because you're not getting much for him, right? You're not getting...
Brady, look, he was later in his career and he had plateaued a little bit, but Tom Brady in the mix at that point in time as the greatest quarterback of all time. Even before he went on to have a whole second phase of his career.
Yeah.
Already in the discussion as greatest quarterback of all time. Like, if he was threatened by Garoppolo, you don't think Drake Maye, after winning one stinking game as a rookie, one real game as a rookie, isn't a little more threatened by Joe Milton than Brady was when he was established by Garoppolo?
People like Joe Milton. A little bit of there's backup quarterback always going to be pretty popular, especially when you have somebody that is as athletic as Joe Milton with the arm that Joe Milton has. And I know it was against second and third stringers, but it was still an NFL game, and he looked pretty good the last time we saw him.
So one more item. Yesterday, Mass Live had the report. Daniels and Garigian, we talked about it briefly yesterday, and I thought it was pretty clear. This is the Patriots saying, get your best offer in. I didn't think the trade would happen today. I thought it would happen prior to the draft. But I thought this report was pretty clear. The Patriots want the best offer. Get your best offers out there. We're not getting what we want yet. They said they were getting multiple trade inquiries. I'm assuming one was from the Cowboys.
Sure.
Again, they're getting a pick in the 170s and giving up a 7th for a guy who was drafted in the 190s last year. Feels like bad business. They also had the item that Joe Milton would prefer to be on a roster that best gives him a chance to compete for his starting job. Now, people have tweeted this story at us. We mentioned it yesterday. Do you think he has a better job to get the starting job here or in Dallas? Or a better chance of getting the starting job here or in Dallas?
I mean, maybe you say, Dak could get hurt again. I would say neither. Honestly, like both are stars. Maybe he has a better one there because they might be done with Dak sooner than Drake Maye, I guess.
He's not going to, longer
like
term.
Drake Maye, like if you look at a big picture.
Yeah, fine.
For this
season, year, I think he's got a better chance to beat out Maye.
See, I don't think he beats either one of them out.
Okay, but who's he got a better chance to beat out?
Yeah, I guess Drake Maye. I feel like both guys would have to be hurt for them to lose the job.
Probably true. The point is, he's not going to Cleveland or Pittsburgh or some team without a quarterback. He's going to
the Saints that we talked about.
He's going to a place with an established QB who's has a giant contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He didn't get what he wanted. If Joe Milton was like forcing his way out of town, which I don't think was the case, but maybe if he's forcing his way out of town, he certainly didn't get what he wanted. So you guys can jump in here. Joe Milton traded by the Patriots. What do you think? Walter is in Boston. Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, I've watched Joe Milton all through college, and it's like Schefter and all them dudes said they tried to trade him. You guys, people around here going crazy because he won a game against backup defenses who were just playing base defenses. It's like he has a great arm. I agree with that, but they tried to get stuff from him. Nobody wanted to get anything. Nobody was going to draft Joe Milton.
Walter.
You guys know that.
Walter.
So it's the same thing as like around here when Kerry Olynyk was on the Celtics. They were like, you can't trade Kerry.
You're talking to the wrong show. We hated Kelly Olynyk from Jump Street. But hold on a second. Why trade him? I'm not saying he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, but why trade him?
Why not keep working with him?
For like a 5th round pick that you also give up a 7th. Why do that?
Though? Like people know if you follow Joe Milton in college, you see.
No, I know you did. It's very well established. But why not have him as a backup? Walter, why not have him as a backup?
They got a backup, and they got a higher pick than what they got for the guy. Because really, he was going to go undrafted. That's the only thing I'm saying.
He didn't go undrafted. What are you talking about?
He didn't go undrafted. They drafted him.
They drafted him, and another team just gave him a draft pick for him. So stop with the undrafted. He
Walter
clearly
does not
has
like Joe Milton because he watched him in college.
He clearly has minimal value, but he has value.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, Keefe. Like, all right, fine. So you didn't get what you wanted. So keep him on the roster unless somebody on the roster doesn't want him here. Like, do you think Vrabel is just like, the guy can't play, I don't want him?
Has he met him?
Maybe. I mean, he might think that.
I don't even know if he's met him. Has he talked to Joe Milton yet?
I don't know.
I mean, Elliott Wolf drafted him. The owner said they might have 2 quarterbacks. So now maybe this.
Right. Do you think the owner wanted to trade him for a 5th rounder?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
He just said they had 2 quarterbacks, which also maybe goes back to your point. You were worried about, how much Kraft might step in on this draft. For trading him for a bag of balls makes it feel like, no. Feels like this is all Vrabel or, I guess they're looking at it and they say, hey, is this just going to be easier? Is it going to be easier if he's not here?
It was one of 2 people's call. It was Vrabel. It's not Wolf.
Yeah.
I don't think Kraft wanted to do it. I don't think Milton has.
It's definitely not Wolf.
Milton doesn't have the leverage to force it. So it was Vrabel or Maye. It was one of those 2. So either you can crush Vrabel for the crummy return, or you can get on Drake Maye for not liking the guy breathing down his neck.
I don't see why you needed to trade him. And I think anybody that calls in like Walter, like you and I aren't saying he's great or he is going to go he's going to beat Dak Prescott and we're going to regret this trade. We're going to rue the day. It's just if you're not getting a big return, why trade him?
Yeah.
Like, would you trade Ramondre Stevenson for a 7th-round pick right now? No.
Me neither.
Would I trade him for something better, especially if you get somebody else? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and who knows?
But, I'm not just trading guys away just to get these, day 3 picks.
And another preseason or maybe another spot start at the end of the year, his value could go up. And so just because this is the best you could get today doesn't mean it's the best you were going to get unless, again, there was urgency and immediacy to the move. One more time, Mike Reese. How about this tweet? This is a whopper. Opinion/analysis, trade of Joe Milton for modest draft pick return. Modest. Sparks a thought that it was driven as much by QB room dynamics as anything else.
So don't blame us. We see your angry text. Don't blame us.
Ipso facto.
Blame Reese.
Breaking news from Mike Reese. No.
Yeah.
But reading between the lines on what Reese had to say, Drake Maye didn't want Joe Milton around.
Yeah.